Welcome to Turn the Page podcast with Alyssa and Leah, a podcast where we share our love for children's literature.
This summer, we have set a schedule to read and discuss some favorites from young readers like you.
This week, we are discussing Amelia Bedelia Means Business. Amelia Bedelia makes her chapter book debut in this one. In Amelia Bedelia Means Business, it's a New York Times bestseller, and it's the first book in the Amelia Bedelia chapter book series where young Amelia Bedelia will do almost anything for a shiny new bicycle.
Amelia Bedelia's parents say they'll split the cost of a new bike with her, and that means Amelia Bedelia needs to put the pedal to the metal and earn some dough. With Amelia Bedelia, anything can happen, and it usually does. Short, fast-paced chapters, tons of friends, silly situations, and funny wordplay and misunderstandings make the Amelia Bedelia chapter books an ideal choice for readers.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. How much did you know about this book or this series before you read it?
I mean, I grew up reading Amelia Bedelia, so I definitely know who Amelia Bedelia is. Now, the Amelia Bedelia I read about was an adult. And I loved all of her situations, funny situations that she would get herself into. I do have the Amelia Bedelia chapter books in my classroom, but this is the first time I've read them.
Okay. Yeah, I obviously grew up with Amelia Bedelia too. I think we've talked about this in a previous episode, but I loved Amelia Bedelia as a kid. I thought she was so funny. My mom also loves Amelia Bedelia. She did not read this book, but she did comment on our post that she loved Amelia Bedelia. And so I always found it really funny. So I was excited to read this and kind of see a new take on the same Amelia Bedelia that we know and love.
Yes, me too. I was excited, and it did not disappoint.
No, have you read any of the other like young Amelia Bedelia books?
No, this is my first
Okay,
one.
see, I've done I have Amelia Bedelia's First Apple Pie that is a young Amelia Bedelia, and it's a picture book. It's not a chapter book. And so I've read that with my students, and it's like her and her grandparents baking an apple pie, and obviously hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I love the original, like where she goes work for the man and lady and does all kind of crazy things in their house.
Yes, I'll never forget the curtains. When I forgot what she does, but she like cuts holes in the curtains. But I don't remember why she did that.
Yeah, I know she dusted the curtains, but like literally put dust on the curtains instead of dust off.
Yeah, I don't remember what she cuts holes in something, and I remember thinking that was like the funniest thing of Amelia Bedelia.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is really funny.
Okay, well, this book reading level is a 3.9, which is actually higher than I thought this series was because it's a short chapter book.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because I teach first grade, and my first graders like reading it. I think it's because of the wordplay, probably.
Yes.
And the idioms.
Yeah, you absolutely have to know what an idiom means, or at least know like that there's literal and figurative language. You don't necessarily have to know what the figurative language should mean because you'll get that in the book, in the wordplay. But you do need to know, like, you don't need to be Amelia Bedelia as you read
it. Right. Yeah. But I do think first graders would enjoy this on up to third grade.
Absolutely. I mean, I enjoyed it. I like seeing like that literal interpretation. I think that there's like so many funny things that could happen if you read this book, with a friend, like talking about the different situations and how you could literally interpret different phrases. But yeah. All right. So definitely. I love this book. I thought it was so cute how she took some time to like do all these different jobs before she, ends up going out and making her lemon tarts. And I really enjoyed seeing her succeed and reach her goals at the end of the book.
Right. There was definitely a lot going on. She tried a bunch of different things, and each time it was funny to see like what would happen.
Yes, absolutely. So
In the
how
next
do
okay.
you think Amelia Bedelia's creativity helped her to succeed in this book?
I think she was very creative, and I think it helped her a lot. With each task that she was given, even though she's very literal, you can see like she was thinking of different things and different ways to do things. And when she meets the lady in the park, even though they just met, she leaves saying like, "I think you should start your own business." Just like, I mean, that's very creative.
Yes, absolutely. I think that she definitely was like willing to try new things and willing to like have that adventurous spirit about things. And I mean I love for her that she always wanted to be the best at whatever she was doing, not like in a bad way the best, but like when she was going to be a waitress, she 100% like threw herself in. She wanted to be the best waitress she could, and like she was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remember the rules and I'm going to help out as much as I can. And then yeah, in the park when she met the lady, she kind of inspired her sense of creativity to do something she loves. And then with the lemonade stand, you see in the illustrations her like carting all those lemons. And it was
Yeah.
great to see, like, not only that she had these great ideas, but also her execution of the ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Obviously this book was really, really hilarious. But what do you think makes Amelia Bedelia such a funny character?
Well, it's definitely her literal interpretation of everything. And I can honestly relate to Amelia Bedelia. I'm a very literal person. Now, I know idioms and
Yeah.
so I don't think I would do these kind of things, but definitely just like taking everything that everyone says makes things funny because we don't always talk like in absolutes and we talk figuratively a lot of the time. And I thought about this when I was reading this because I was reading it to my cousin, just like how much um gets lost in translation with young people sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um yeah. And it's just fun and cute to see Amelia Bedelia
Yeah. I know
try to figure these things out.
my 3-year-old often will like I'll say something and then she'll like go to do it, and like not in an Amelia Bedelia sense, but like I'm trying to think of a good example of it. But then she'll be like, well, that's not what you said. And she'll do like
Right.
a misinterpretation of the situation, and so, or like use the
Uh-huh.
wrong language for something that, any
Yeah.
adult will do. So I think it's like that fun part about learning language and, playing with it.
Yeah.
My favorite one
Yeah.
was the, lots of lemons when she set up the lots of lemons on the
Oh.
lemonade stand underneath the guy's sign, and then people thought it was, like,
Uh-huh.
an example because I thought, like, it was just really funny. And then, of course, also that, like,
Yeah.
in her attempt to, like, do nothing wrong, it just goes horribly, and she accidentally hurts someone's feeling, which is just such a shame because she is so not that kind of a person. Like, she wouldn't have ever done that to hurt him.
No. And she was so proud of that, I think, too, like the way she thought of it and she wanted it to be a surprise for her parents and she was just like she thought she had done a great thing.
Yeah, and she did. She did. Just
Yeah.
maybe don't hang it right under
She
his
did.
sign.
It yeah, unfortunate placement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite was when she stomped on the pie. I mean, I could see it happening and I just thought it was it's so funny. Right. So, what do you admire about Amelia Bedelia?
I would say her kindness. She is a very, well, I don't know. She is really kind, but I also really admire how hardworking she is. I think that she is, like I said
Mhm.
earlier, she consistently does her best at everything she does. And I feel like that goes kind of hand in hand with her kindness because like she doesn't want to let other people down. She doesn't want to let her mom and dad down. You know, she doesn't want to let anybody down. She wants to do her best at everything. And obviously she doesn't want to let herself down either in getting the book. So I love like that she's so hardworking and then she's so kind as well. What about you? What do you admire about her?
Yeah, I definitely like how she doesn't give up. In the end, I think she's kind of disappointed going into the parade because she kind of feels like she doesn't have a chance of winning, but it's, she already has the business in mind, so she thinks, well, at least I'll keep trying to earn money. And a lot of things happen that would have probably made me give up along the way, but she still goes into the parade like, very determined to succeed with the business, even though she doesn't think she'll win the contest. So, I mean, in a lot of her books, I think that she overcomes a lot of hurdles and never gives up.
Absolutely. I agree with that. She has some very unfortunate things that happen to her. I mean, like at the end when the bike gets run over, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like of all
I
things." And then
know.
okay, the part where they go to the bike shop when they first find out about the contest. You remember like something was
Uh-huh.
wrong with her tire? Like her and
Yes.
Suzanne was that her name? Suzanne?
Their bikes, yeah. Yeah, their bikes got messed up in the
Yeah, I'm like, of
crash.
course. Like, of all things, like now this bike that she's trying to replace anyway gets also broken. So, but I love how Amelia Bedelia's parents also like foster in her that sense of like being hardworking and like they really work
Mhm.
with her to do all these things. You know, it's something to remember as an adult to do that for
Mhm.
your little people. But
Definitely.
all right, would you recommend this book?
Oh, absolutely. I would recommend it, and I'm glad that I read it because now I feel like I could talk about it with my students, and uh, I would recommend it to any one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think this is a great book for any kid. I also love it for girls because I feel like obviously there's illustrations, but it doesn't take a lot of time talking about like what Amelia Bedelia looks like, but you have a great idea of her like personality and like her personality traits. And even I don't know if you notice at the end of the book, it says like the 10 best things about Amelia Bedelia. It says like she's funny, she's brave, she's a
Yes.
good friend. And I just love that not one of
Yes.
those things has to do with like she's cute or she's got good hair because I think
Mhm.
sometimes like in the world today we get caught up in these things that don't matter. But what really matters is like your inside traits and your qualities. And so I love that Amelia Bedelia is such a dynamic character that I think you don't want to be literal like her necessarily as a role model, but she is a good role model because she's very persistent. She's very positive. So to see someone like that,
Right.
I think is a good thing for girls.
Right. And I love how it lists like she loves to read
Mm,
and she loves her family and she always helps out. Like those are just great qualities and just and does help you get to know Amelia Bedelia a little bit more, and think about why she did some things in the book that she did.
absolutely. Yeah, I would love to try one of her lemon
I also
tarts.
I know. So it also has like the two ways to say it in the back. And I believe that's in all the books. Like it'll go through the idioms so that you can, like, young readers can look in the back and say, like, oh, if you don't know what this means, it tells you
Oh, yeah.
another way to say it, which tells you the meaning too.
Yeah, and that might be like a great thing to do before you even read. You know, if you're like maybe
Yeah.
struggled with some of like understanding the idioms in this book, you know, obviously you could look that up
Hmm.
really quickly. If you didn't know what an idiom meant, you could ask an adult. You could, look it up really fast. But having this in the
Yeah.
back,
But here it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
You cut the mustard. When I got to that part in the book, I was like, I don't even know that I know what this phrase means because we don't really
Yeah.
use that here. I guess it's maybe like a colloquial term somewhere else.
Yeah. It says, can you cut the mustard means like, can you do it well? And I thought it just meant like, get it done. Like, let's do it,
Yeah.
which I guess is similar, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a little bit different. So, and I feel like a lot of these phrases are like that because they are figurative language that it's somewhat up to interpretation based on like where you live and who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but I thought this book was adorable. I would definitely recommend this to any elementary reader, really. I mean, this could be someone as young as first grade getting it read to them or as old as, fifth grade just reading it themselves. I enjoyed it myself.
Yeah.
All right.
Same.
All right. We're going to go ahead and read some of our comments about Amelia Bedelia Means Business. We didn't get as many comments on this one, so I don't know if a lot of people haven't read it, but if you haven't read it, I definitely would recommend it. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right. First up, we have Lily. She said that she really liked Amelia Bedelia and she wanted her to be able to get her brand new bike. The end was the best part of the story for her because she did get a brand new bike. But the worst part was at the beginning with Suzanne because she didn't feel like she was very nice. And at the end, she was nicer to Amelia Bedelia. And Lily also thought that the book was really funny.
All right. Our next comment is from Carmel. So Carmel also liked this book. At first, she didn't want to read it because she did not see the illustrations. But then once she saw them, she did like it. And she thought that Amelia Bedelia's parents should just get her a new bike. And we did have to talk about that because that's not how it works. She liked Amelia Bedelia and she thought she was very, very funny and silly. So I think that's a common thing for Amelia Bedelia, and I am excited to read more
Right.
young Amelia Bedelia books. But our next upper grade book is going to be Hello Universe by Erin and Shraddha Kelly. So if you would like to read along with us, we would love to have you.
Thank you for listening to Turn the Page podcast with Alyssa and Leah. Please take a minute to follow us and leave us a review. We would love to hear from you.
Speaking of hearing from you, we would love for you to follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram at turnthepage_podcast or Turn the Page Podcast on Facebook.
Bye, y'all.